Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the Flat Earth Debate community, then go to nathanoakley.com and join the community forum to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate community. Most importantly, if you'd like to join this discussion, then you need to go to the live show, which is for the next few days at least, premiering or going out live on the on Flat Earth Debate YouTube channel. So check out the link in the info box right below this video. Also, if you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a Patreon, crypto and PayPal link in the info box below the video. Now, we're currently in the interim stages between the two debates, so I will pass over to all of the panel, and the dulcet tones of whoever the hell is in there can keep you entertained while I set up for the next live show.
Yeah, there are map sites where you can get charts for navigation. Now, whether they're accurate or not, I'm not sure. But if we could lay those out some way, link them, merge them, then I think you could get a pretty good, accurate representation of what it would look like. The problem is, it seems like it's on purposely the charts are broken up. Like you can only get sections of like maybe the East Coast or one small section. So really, you only get the ones you need to where you want to navigate. So there's no big image; it's only in pieces. So the process of building that would be hard to do. So to get a true representation.
I mean, that's the exact reason why people don't typically use a globe for navigation, because you have to zoom in on the surface and concentrate on a small local spot. And I would tell you flatten Earth, which is that your name? Flatten Earth or flat? I'm sorry, what's your name?
My name is Paul.
Paul, okay, Paul. I mean, to me, this is one of the biggest things that will let you know that the Earth isn't flat. Like, you should be able to make, it's not a world map, just a map of America and South America, or, Europe and Asia. You should be able to make a flat map that has accurate distances. That's not a complicated endeavor.
That's my point.
I would love to see that map. I would love to see that map.
That's my point. You didn't finish it. You didn't hear my point. I said I've looked at the charts. There's websites where you can actually go buy and purchase charts. But the problem to be able to do it, the time and energy it would take to accomplish trying to see what that would look like is hard, because obviously you've not done any true research on mapping. I mean, there's maps out there, chart websites for navigating and sailing. But to do that, it's only in pieces, so you can't say that it's a globe, because all the maps are flat. But to put those together, it would take a lot of work. And honestly, I don't have the time. I got a baby to take care of. I got a work to take care of, and I don't even have the space to be able to do that, and even the money to be able to purchase the charts to accomplish that. So all the maps are flat. Your assumption is incorrect. You're just assuming that. That's what Nathan has been trying to say. You're assuming it's right. That's your assumption.
And I have a question.
Well, look, if space is non-linear, then it may turn out to be interconnected like a globe. Doesn't take away the fact that it's still physically, geometrically flat, though. It's just very confusing if that were the case.
Space-time, Arwen?
No, not space-time. Space. Not space-time. Space. Only space.
I wanted to ask
non-linearity.
A question, also expand on something Arwen said. You said that the default should be the globe if that's what it is, and I know Wolfie 6020 or something. He said, well, we have to account for curvature when we're flying in the plane, so our flights take a little longer. It's just a little bit longer. But if the default, if the map is curved, if distances are curved, they should already know how long it's going to take. It should be accurately projected in the beginning. So why would you have to add extra time for curvature if the default is the globe? And
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the live Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to join the Flat Earth debate community, then go to nathanoakley.com and join the forum to keep up to date with the community Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join this discussion right now, then simply click the link in the info box below this video with the page you are currently watching on mute to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now we are joined by Unorthodox, The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Paul, Earth Flattener, we've got Eric, Chocolate Saiyan, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Afternoon.
Hello.
Morning.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, I got a news update, by the way, about space travel. Apparently, the company that wanted to Mars One, that wanted to go to Mars, a private company, it went bankrupt, so they're not going there anyway.
What a
Turns
shame.
out they're not going because financial reasons. They didn't get enough money.
Oh, what do you mean? Right after Trump offered them all the money in the world? Oh, that's too
I'm not
bad.
sure if that's actually the case. It doesn't explain. It's just like, we're so disappointed. They had such a one-way trip idea to go to Mars, and they went bankrupt, so they're not going. Oh.
No worries, Elon and SpaceX, they'll get there.
Yeah,
They'll
there's
just
always
push-
somebody
they'll
else,
just push
and they're not going to go bankrupt, of course.
Just kick the
They'll just
can
push it
further.
to 2040s. That's it.
Kicking
Push
that
it up
space
to
can down the
2040.
road.
Yeah, I had an
Kicking
image
this,
that
they're
I
kicking the space
Arwin,
can down the road.
Hey Jose, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Just here to fill the panel, just so the trolls not
There
to
is
come
good
in.
to have you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Well, you are the
Unorthodox.
troll, Jose. Come on.
Right? Yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Just
Hey,
kidding.
Unorthodox, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Because we're going to talk about navigation. If we were on a sphere, as we've been told, if you were to fly a distance over that sphere, which would be the shorter distance, closer to the sphere or further away from the sphere?
It's negligible difference.
Well, that's not.
No, there's
The
a
same
difference,
negligible
but
doesn't answer my question.
Well, it's
negligible.
the further away you go out from the center, but the distances you're talking about is negligible. I've looked at it before, and the math works out to something like just a tiny percentage.
Really? So
Yeah, I can work it out for you.
A plane flying at 40,000 feet would have the same negligible distance to travel as a car on the ground?
Yeah, it's a negligible difference. I mean, I could calculate it for you, but I've done this before.
Right,
Me and
okay.
the guy were talking about this. It's a very, very small distance. You can do it yourself. Just look at the distance from New York to Los Angeles at 3,959 miles, which is the radius of Earth, and then look at the distance from New York to LA at 3,000 964 miles, 5 miles extra. If you traverse that arc 5 miles out from the surface of the Earth, it's a very minimal difference in distance.
Yeah, but you could, if the Earth was flat, you could account just the ascent and descent, because they're not driving, they're not going in a straight line. They're going so many miles up and so many miles down. So it could account for that too.
I'll just say I had a picture that I brought with me. That's Jose's that I wanted to talk about. I kind of analyzed this a little bit and wanted to show you guys this and see what you thought about it. I know you talked about it a little bit before, but I analyzed it a little bit and I wanted to see what you guys, if your position was the same, if your position has changed at all. I don't know if Nathan's still here or not. He would have to present me.
You having a
If he's
laugh?
not
I
here,
run the
Is
show.
it another monument to the curvature of the Earth?
Nathan is the host of the
Yes.
show. How he's not gonna be here?
Oh,
on
yeah.
this?
I don't think he's here.
Yeah, it's alright. I think
Yeah,
you're dumb. I run this bloody show, you stupid asshole. Yeah, I am here. I run this show. I'm the host.
You
Yeah,
did.
don't laugh, you stupid dumbass. Yes, I am here listening to your stupidity.
Okay, well, will you present my screen? I want to talk about this image.
Oh, by the way, one minor adjustment about the Mars One update. It's only one company that went bankrupt, which doesn't cause the entire project to be cancelled because the foundation, the driving force, is still going, but it will be postponed. So you can still hope.
Keep sending your money.
Yes, exactly. They just need a little bit more money, and eventually they'll get there.
I think you guys have to click on my icon in the Hangout to see the image that we're going to be discussing. And Nathan, you might want to present this to your audience
The
so they can
sunset.
see what we're talking about.
The sunset. The
No, it's not sunset anymore. Maybe it's going to take a second to update, but I've got a picture of a lighthouse on screen.
I can see a sun on your screen.
I can see a sunset.
I see a sunset on your screen.
Just sunset to me.
Okay, well, it hasn't uploaded that, or it hasn't fixed itself yet. It's just a connection issue, I guess. It should show a lighthouse here in just a second.
Maybe stop screen sharing and do it again.
Okay, all right. Let's see here. All right. Okay.
So was it you with a different username on Orthodoxy in Discord that wanted to talk about this lighthouse?
Yeah, you sent me some. You sent me your original images. Yeah, I'm B50 and
Okay.
on Discord. I don't know if you guys can see now,
Yeah, you're presenting now.
but okay. So it's Jose actually took these. I think this is a really, really good example of how things can disappear behind an Earth curve. So here's the original lighthouse. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stripes. It's about 140 feet from bottom to top, and to the top of the stripes, and then the top is another 30 feet. So here's the second image. This is Jose got this from 17 miles away. Notice you can only see 2 stripes, right? So you're missing more than 60%, 70% of the object. You know, this is a really, really stellar example.
Sorry,
of things
I heard at the
disappearing.
beginning.
Of obstruction.
Sorry, hold on, Arwin. At the beginning, you said disappeared behind Earth curve. How do you get from something being obstructed from the bottom up to it being Earth curve?
Well, there's no other explanation.
Yeah, there is. So there's a limitation of your angle of view due to the distance. So yeah, there is other explanations. The deck that he's looking over, by virtue of perspective, will rise up to the midpoint, even though he's very low to the deck, causing obstruction from the bottom up. So yes, there is other explanations beyond your religious assertion that it's Earth curve
Well,
doing this,
what are
even though
they?
you didn't demonstrate that.
Unorthodox.
You've just
Stop.
made that as an assertion
Stop.
and are now talking over me.
No, it's me. It's me. Unorthodox. The burden of proof is not on us. I would like you, and I've asked Jose this as well. I would like to see your elimination of every variable you've considered. Okay? Don't
You
tell
just
me.
need common sense.
No.
Sorry, that's not common sense that you've used. It's a religious assertion that it must be Earth curve because it must be. That's the only explanation. That's a dogmatist's assertion. That's the assertion of a religious zealot. It's not the only explanation. And what you're now being asked for is your elimination of any other option. And you're saying, no, it's common sense.
It's directly observable. I don't know what.
Yeah, the obstruction is observable. The bit that's not observable is your religious assertion that that obstruction is Earth curve. That's not observable. If it is, show me where it's curving.
Directly observable that this is being obstructed.
Yeah, don't just repeat your religious assertion. Show me where it's curving.
It's from the bottom of the water to the bottom of the lighthouse. Here, I'll show you another image.
No, stay on this image. You didn't. You seem to be going off that image. Are you scared of that image now that I've got a hold of it? You seem to be ignoring it and going to a blink test that's taken from a completely different angle. So this is not the same angle. You've now blink tested something that is completely different vantage point underneath it, looking up, rather than at this very limited angle over a very large distance. So this is a complete straw man and a total misrepresentation of the two different realities of when you are close to something with a wide angle to it and far away with a narrow angle to it. Now that's one of the explanations that you totally ignored when Travis asked you if you had discounted the other options. Now you've moved on. So let's go back to the original picture that I asked you to show me the curve in. Not your blink test with totally different... This one. Explain again. Where's the curve?
You can see obstruction.
Yeah, I know I can see obstruction. For the second time, you're going to get kicked out. Where's the curve? Not obstruction. We can all see that. That's
I just told you there's no curve. It's obstruction, Nathan. How many times do I have to repeat myself?
Excellent. So there's no curve there. You asserted at the beginning that it was Earth curve obstruction. Now you're saying the contrasting point of view, which it's not curving. Well, there seems to be a contradiction there.
Sounds like a knockout due to a self-inflicted blow to the head.
Yeah, the contradiction being you asserted obstructed by Earth curve. Those were the words you used. Obstructed by Earth curve. Now you're saying it's just obstructed, there is no curve. So, that's a completely contrasting statement.
I couldn't hear you because there was 5 people talking, Nathan. You're talking over everybody.
Unorthodox, we don't have to give you an explanation because it's common sense.
Well, I think that should show a lot to the audience.
Oh, it seems like you just started talking over Travis. Shut your stupid mouth, dumbass. Just because you've got a religious belief that it is obstruction because of curvature doesn't mean we'll accept it. You'll have someone like Travis say, well, have you discounted the other options? And you, with your religious dogmatist assertion that it must be Earth curve. That's not going to fly here, dickhead.
I have this down in a few options. One of the options will be a mirage mirroring, in this image that could be hiding the bottom of the image, but it was a very crystal clear day. There was no mirage in this day particularly. So that's one of the
sorry, Jose.
That
Jose, if the mirage is caused because of something behind the obstruction that's physically actually obscuring the bottom of it, how would you know whether or not the bottom of this is compressed, like Ranty's boats, if it's obscured? We can't tell.
Yeah,
right?
I also did a little. I deleted.
Why
I
have you
did
put
a
this shit on
compression.
screen? I'll kick you out, Unorthodox. Put the picture back on. This is from a totally different angle. Right
no, it's
on top
not.
of it.
This is not from a different angle.
Oh, really? So these are taken from the same distance. This one that says it's 140 feet, 144 feet, which is not an angular size measurement. It's an actual size measurement that will not change with distance. So this is a total hijacking of perspective. That lighthouse is not 144 feet. It's an angular size depending on its distance. But the 144 feet won't change at any distance. So you claiming that it's not the same angle is bollocks. It is a totally different angle when you're right next to it looking up. The one that's in the foreground is blatantly, obviously taken from underneath it. You're clearly looking up at it. This is a totally different angle. What? Right, that's your last chance, you stupid asshole. Get out. Don't talk over me, you stupid dick. Get out. I'm sick of it. I'm in the middle of explaining how it's a totally different angle. In the middle of my point, he starts talking. Basically, he's become rumpus. I'm not going to tolerate that shit. No. I'm pointing out that you're looking up at the one in the foreground. Clearly, a different angle. Yeah, when I point that out, he starts talking over me and then moans because apparently he can't hear over the sound of his own stupid voice.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
I'm just wondering, could you tell me the name of the lighthouse, please?
Sure. Jose?
Yeah.
It's Rumpus, by the way.
Jose, do you know the name?
Kemah, K-E-M-A-H, if I'm not mistaken. I can find a map. I can click on the coordinates and post it in the Skype chat. Is the best I can do.
That's all I really wanted to join and just see, and then I'll just do some work on it and see what's what. Right, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
See you in a bit.
Yeah, because I got the control image I have besides this one is from a little over 4 miles away, from a different vantage point, So.
Oh, sorry. One last thing. Where did you take your image from? The same spot that you took it from before?
Yeah, in the long street pier type of thing, yeah.
Right, got you. Right. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I gave him long enough before I kicked him out. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Surprised he lasted that long.
He was a little over talking. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like I was yesterday. Yeah.
Hey, Jose, do you think it's possible to do like a time lapse of that shot?
I've been wanting to go back, but these last 2.5 weeks it's been super cloudy and rainy over here. I don't have any visibility whatsoever.
Have you seen the time lapse videos of Skunk Bay on Taboo Conspiracy?
Yeah, I've seen so. I've seen. Yeah, I've seen.
I mean, that should show you how much atmospheric conditions.
Why are you running away like a little bitch baby, Nathan?
Like
you can't debate.
And change parent size and how things are squashed or elongated. I mean, it looks like the top of that lighthouse, even though it's 17 miles away, is longer, much longer than it should be at that distance. I mean, it's really difficult. Then you have the apparent, like the angular size of things closer are going to obstruct the bottom.
On those time-lapse videos, I forgot the detail. In the top, like above, I know in the bottom of the image where it's close to the water, it stretches and compresses, and do all these wobbly things. How about the top? Does it stretch and shortens also?
I mean, it looks like it's magnified. I mean, that's just an effect. You said it's a clear day, but I mean, there's never going to be an absence of atmosphere. So the further away, the more compressed the atmosphere is going to be, and it's going to have a magnifying effect.
Oh, wish Anthony would have showed that video he posted. That would have been awesome.
I would imagine he's now playing Command and Conquer. Why'd you keep rejoining Unorthodox?
I thought we were debating here. I don't understand why somebody accidentally kicked me when we're debating.
Yeah, I did.
Is this not a big boy show?
Yeah. I was in the middle of explaining how the two different shots that you had, one with the lighthouse in the foreground and one with the lighthouse in the background, are taken from completely different angles. One would fill the majority of your camera view, one is a tiny few pixels on the horizon. That is a difference in angle. In mid-sentence, you started talking over me. That's why I kicked you out. I gave you one last chance. You continue to do it. That's why I will now kick you out. Say, piss off. Come back on the next show when you learn some fucking manners.
Yeah,
so about
and you warned him much more than once, by the way, Nathan.
So in this one image of the lighthouse, it's very visible the two stripes in the top. It might be magnified, who knows, yeah. But how about then in the bottom, there's these trees or houses blocking the half of the image, of my actual image. So if it's compression, it should be then 2 stripes visible in the top, and it's got to be 4 on 5 stripes in that little band in the bottom. I did a little game with it, but it's just, I mean, it doesn't add up, like for real.
See, how far away are those images that are closer than the lighthouse? So they have to figure out their angular size. Because
they're about 10 or 11 miles away.
Okay.
Here's a question: does compression always have to occur for visibility to for the observation, or is there other factors that may not account for compression?
I'm pretty sure, based on the information that Life is Short put out recently, that the compression is actually due to refraction. Real refraction, before globe heads jump up and down and go, hooray! Not 7/6 of the begging the question radius value. No, that's terrestrial refraction, but actual refractive effects. So in the past I have incorrectly asserted that it's the same effect as pushing the bottom section in the lower half of your field of view out to a further distance. That's not strictly accurate. Yes, there is a more limited field of view to the bottom, causing things to disappear bottom first. That bit is true. But me saying that it would squash before doing that is incorrect. Ranty was right, I was wrong. We had a side bet. I was completely focused on the angle, he was completely focused on the atmospheric conditions, and the truth lies somewhere in between. But that actual squashing that Ranty shows on the Stena line, I don't think that's down to the limited angle.
But there could be, in certain conditions, compression, and other times no compression but obstruction.
Correct. So if you look at Red Pill Philosophy's video with his lighthouse, it's a perfect day. Just very, very lucky. I don't want to say lucky because you've got to get out there to do it, and you've got to be there to get lucky, if you know what I mean. So it's not luck, but it's actual effort and doing it. But ultimately speaking, he happened to catch an exceptionally clear day with virtually no refractive effects. And when you look at, or not me, when Life is Short looked at the stats for that day, the air and water temperature were basically identical.
I took some photos. Sorry. I said I took some photos of Myrtle Beach when I was out there. This is when I was first started looking into flat Earth, and it looked to me like because it was really humid that day. There's a lot of humidity in the air, that it almost like magnified the image and pulled the water almost up in front of everything. It seemed like, because the buildings I was photographing was probably at least 15, 20 miles away at least, and and I looked it up to see what the highest building was, and most of those buildings should have been obstructed by Earth's curvature. There was a bit of obstruction, but at the same time, you could tell the buildings were magnified in the image. So I just, anyway, just one of those things I'm thinking about.
Yeah, there's a channel called The Plain Truth, I think, and he has some recent footage from California with lighthouse and oil rigs. Jose, I've made this point to you, and I'm going to just bring it back again. The very first image on my oil rig, I would try to say is analogous to the top of your lighthouse. So you only see the very top of the lighthouse. Where's the rest of it, right? My first image of the oil rig, all you can see is the very top rigging. You can't see the body. Where did it go? Oh, an hour later, there it is. I didn't move. Nothing changed except the atmosphere. Okay? You have to be honest and just take that into consideration. I'm going to say it again. I've made comments on your video, hoping to get some interaction with you. I look forward to it. But when I saw and watched your video, I could see that the lighthouse was bigger than I thought it should be at that distance. My mind was expecting to see a smaller lighthouse, but it's not. It's larger, which made me think that it was closer. Okay? So it's not, I don't know what else to say, except just to ask you to just think through this, man.
Oh, I thought through this. Actually, yeah. Objects in the very far distance appear a little bigger than they should be. Something with the cameras, the optics, I mean, I'm really not sure. And it has been documented a few times, and I agree. Rob Skiba is a good example on the Chicago or whatever, and the big building that you can see in the foreground. You can see the little tip, but it's gigantic. If you scale it, it should be super gigantic, a mile freaking high. And I know this magnification, lensing thing could be a thing, but it just haven't been documented enough to make a solid case in favor of the flat Earth, is my honest opinion.
And that's why we're here, Jose. That's what we're trying to do here.
And then another detail that I have to just delete of the possible explanations, because the lighthouse is not just sitting on the water. There's trees and bushes blocking. So if there's any atmospheric condition that is going to make like your oil rig disappear and appear in the distance, that's been blocked by the trees. So I don't know what's going on behind those trees, but still, scale to me is an issue. And if I do a control image, a blink test, I cannot do this. I cannot take a picture from this same distance far away, because it's going to be the same. It's going to be blocked the same way. So I'm not going to be able to take a control image from 17 miles away and compare it to this one, because I'm going to have the same image missing the bottom half.
Okay, so Jose, here's my point though, and that is in the same footage that I have with the lighthouse. Okay, I have the island disappearing underneath the lighthouse, and the lighthouse is appearing as if it's closer to the water. Where did the land go? Because in other images from the same distance, I can see the entire island, and then the lighthouse is way up on top. Okay, so I hear what you're saying, that you can't get the same image. I'm telling you, go out and get another image at least. Okay, shoot it a couple of different days. I went out 3-4 days in a row. Okay, go back to that same location and see how it changes. You can't just take one picture and think, well, I'm just going to keep getting this image the whole time. I might as well stop. Don't do that.
Yeah, he's filming over the tidal bore.
Can you guys see my video? This is my video. Can you see it?
Yeah, you're up, Paul. I've had it playing for the last minute or so. So if you want to talk us through it, you feel welcome.
Yeah, this is.
You
can look on Google Maps for it. We were staying at the Seahorn, and the way the beach curves, it kind of curves. You go north, it kind of curves out over, or goes out eastward over the ocean. And I'm taking a picture kind of crossed, trying to video those buildings, and you can see that the buildings are magnified in the image. You know, and there's a barge. I don't know if you can see it in this one. Yeah, that barge right there that you see, I think I guessed, or that pier is roughly about 2 miles away from where I'm at currently. You can see the buildings. They're magnified off in the distance on all these images. I did this is my P900 at work. I didn't do as much as I would love to have done, but that was my work.
Good footage, thank you.
So,
yeah,
Jose,
very good. Thanks.
listen,
Thanks for presenting that.
Jose, again, that's the point I'm making. Is that if I went out on the first day and I saw that very first image of the oil rig and thought, oh well, I'm just going to see that again tomorrow, so I'm not going to shoot, I would have missed what I got the next day, which was something completely different.
What you got, Ranty? You figured something out?
Yeah, Jose. What elevation would you say you were above sea level?
Well, it's contagious because my on my dioptra showed me I was like 16 foot above the water, plus the tripod it was 22, but I guess in the Google Maps in the computer says I'm like 12 foot above, plus you add another 5 foot of tripod, so it's big, 16, 17. You can do 15 foot, do it lower. It's okay.
Okay, just one second. Just give me a second. Okie dokie then. Right. I'll present my screen. Just one sec.
Oh, are you ready to present off the back of that then? I thought you'd need to go away again.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. Right, Jose, let me know when I'm displaying.
Yeah, you're on.
Okie dokie, right. Jose, I've put your viewer height as 16 feet. If I was to put your viewer height at 20, we're looking at something that's 7 miles away. Do you know what I'm trying to see that's 7 miles away in your direct line of sight? Would you like
What was the question again? Sorry.
Okay, well, you see this pier that comes out here, this jetty?
Yes.
It's only 7 miles away, yeah? Only 7 miles away now. If I put your elevation that you told me is 16 feet, and let's just move that back down to 16 feet, hidden is just 3 feet, right? Refracted hidden 1.5 feet. So essentially, we should be able to see this, should we not? At 7 miles away. But yet we don't.
Using the calculator, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but we don't see it in your image, do we? If we look at your image over here, where is it? Here.
I don't see it.
No, you don't see it. Do you know why you don't see it? Because you're filming over a tidal bore, which is what I've told you.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
That's pretty much it. Because in this image, you should see that jetty. You don't see it. So if it's not hidden, if it's hidden behind something, and you know that this location is renowned for this tidal bore, you actually filmed it yourself. The tidal surge as it comes in, artificially raising the height of the water. You should be able to see that, and it's not there. So if you can't see that, there's something else going on. It can't just be Earth curve, can it?
Right. So then that's why you go out the next day to see if all of a sudden, oh, where'd that jetty come from? I didn't see that yesterday. You got to go out again and again and again, Jose. Please do this.
Yeah, this is only 7 miles away, Jose. So you should see this. You should see this. Should be no reason why you don't see it, but we don't see it in the evidence, do we? That's the first thing that I just want to point out. That's just as a cursory look, something that's 7 miles away that you should be able to see, and we don't. Which tells me that the water level has been artificially raised up. And if I was to put you at 20 feet or 22 feet, then you should have a clear line of sight to that. None of it should be missing at all. There shouldn't be just 3 feet or 2.5 feet. Nothing should be missing. Does that make sense, Jose? Because you told
Somehow
me
makes
22
sense. Yeah.
feet.
No. Yeah, I see what your point.
So I put you at 22 feet. This is 7 miles away. The hidden's a foot. Refracted hidden, a third of a foot. So we should see all of it. But if I drop you down to 16 feet, we've got 3 feet of hidden, 1.5 foot of hidden. We should have no issue with seeing that. So I think that kind of just says, okay, something else is going on in this location. We know the tidal ball happens as it comes in. You filmed it. That's the obstruction. It's not curvature.
Or to put it another way, the model does not dictate what we should or shouldn't see.
Yeah, that's why I don't like using the curve calculator at all whatsoever. I just look, analyze, and see, just my own discernation. People tell me, you got only 5% discernation. I don't care what you say. I just see things, I like taking footage and analyzing it my way.
So the thing is, though, if that pier is being obstructed from your line of sight at just 7 miles away, how much is being obstructed due to this influx of water that's coming in from the tide at something you're trying to view 18, 20 miles away? If you can't even see the pier that you should be able to see.
Yeah, in a nutshell, there's a lot more to it. A lot more to it than just asserting that it's Earth curve obscuring things, because if that was the case, you'd have a model that worked.
Sorry to interrupt. I gotta go. Thanks for letting me take part.
Thank you.
Thank you. In another little different change of subject, I think it was last week that I redid the angle of attack on the supermarket, and I did it in 4 different points on the supermarket. I wasn't able to bring any type of laser or level and make sure the floor was. I wanted to, just to replicate it the same way I did it, and I did it in the 2 points that I did the video before, where the light disappears, and I was able to replicate it exactly like I did before. So I did the same distance, same camera angle, same light, and it did happen. I was able to replicate the light disappearing from the bottom up. In 2 new different locations in the supermarket, across in the other side, the light did not disappear, and then in the back of the supermarket also, in another spot, the light did not disappear. So the same way I did it before, it did happen. I was able to replicate it, and then in 2 new angles I did it, it did not happen. So I don't know what conclusion I can make out of this, but I'm just put the raw video out there. And some people watched it, some people didn't, but this is what I want to do. I want to either prove it or disprove it, and I think I found myself in the half point.
I think I did see that video. Like I did mean to ask you, like what were the differences in the distance from when you got it and when it didn't work? If you know by heart, I don't know if you know.
Yeah. No, I think it was. I mean, the only way I could measure it was in the Google Earth maps, and I put it really close, and I threw a line, and it was telling me it was 150 foot when the light disappeared. Then I did it across in the other side, and it was a little shorter. It was about 100 foot. The light did not disappear. Then I did it in the back part of receiving. It was a little longer than 150 foot. It was maybe 170 foot, and the light did not disappear in that spot. Where it did not disappear, it was a longer way. It was not a reflective floor. It was just like porous concrete, and I couldn't make it replicate it in a longer distance.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
And I got a few more days. I got 3 more days. I worked tonight and 2 more days this week, and then I'm done. I already, I'm moving back to Florida Monday or Tuesday. So in between all those days, and I'm planning on making a quick stop in the Pontchartrain area in Louisiana. Again, I'm planning on stopping on the Little Texas Bayou on my way there. It's maybe 3 hours from here. So I'm going to do a quick stop, take a little bit of footage, upload it, and then make my way to Pontchartrain Bridge, take a little bit of footage, go across the bridge, take another little bit of footage, and continue to Florida. Same way I did last time. It's in a rush because my car is loaded with everything I'm moving from the house. My wife, the dogs, is gonna be crowded. It's gonna be uncomfortable, tired. But I'm still gonna take a little bit of footage and upload it to see what I'm gonna get. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know how it's gonna be the weather, but hopefully I'm lucky enough to get a clear weather day to get good footage to share. And this is gonna happen between Monday or Tuesday next week.
Cool, man. Wish you luck.
I didn't want the point of the last show to get lost, which I thought was really a good direction to go, which is that the consensus is that evolution is what it's actually happening. So that's why they didn't allow creation into it, because it wasn't part of the consensus. And then that led to us talking about NASA and how they're everybody's darling and they can do no wrong. And then Unorthodox came in and proved that point, because he was saying that there was no technology for them to recreate or take footage of the globe in 3D, even though NASA would have this technology if anybody. So it was an awesome show, the last show, and I hope we can keep talking about that, because there is no place for creation, there is no place for evolution in science, and that's the point. We shouldn't peddle any of those.
I hear you.
But there is the point of reasoning to the best explanation. I mean, it may not be necessarily following the scientific method, but what is the best explanation for the evidence that we see? So I don't know if you could just completely dismiss. I mean, obviously I'm a Christian and I believe in intelligent design, but you know, that would, to me, from what I see, that's the most reasonable explanation. I mean, evolution doesn't fall into you have random chance, randomness that would have caused all the diversity we have.
On your mark, ready, set, let's go.
Getting trolled, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you have an answer either way. We had this discussion before, and you have to beg a creator. You know, you can't get there with any sort of logic. You know, and it's the same with evolution. If you're coming from one and the randomness, you know, I understand that, but that's the point.
There's a guy, he's a detective. He does a really good job talking about, like, if you go into, let's say you go into a room and you see a dead body laying in the room, you know, and you have to determine whether it was natural causes, accident, or murder. And how do you go through the process of determining that? It's really good. I could try to find that and present it, but I think there's some good aspects of that. And I think, you know, when you're going through what we're going through, you have to kind of walk through that process. You know, like, to me, as we've said before, you know, there's DNA, there's information in our system. You know, I'm sitting here talking, which implies intelligence. Well, where did that intelligence come from? It has to come from another form of intelligence. You know?
Through necessity. It would have come through necessity, right? And I was thinking about that because we had this conversation last time, and I was at home and I was looking out the window and I saw a hibiscus tree, hibiscus that we have a bush, and it was pink, but when we got it initially, it was purple. And so for some reason it changed color. And so I looked it up, and it's because the pH in the soil changed for whatever reason. And so out of necessity, I think that hibiscus changed color. You know, and so everything is just together. Everything goes hand in hand. Whether it changed color because the bees around there have a lower pH, so they're more attracted to a different color. Regardless, the hibiscus changed, and I have a logical reason for it, and it must be for necessity. I don't know that for sure, but you know, it seems pretty obvious that everything works like this.
Right. One of my biggest arguments I've always told people, like, transmission of a radio signal, you can have a transmitter and transmitting a signal. Well, you have to have a receiver on the other end, that can translate that signal into whatever you want it to be, whether radio, TV, or whatever. Hormones in the body work the same way. You have to have the transmitter, which is the pituitary gland. Then you have to have the receiver, which is the receptors on the cell. Both are required for either one of those to function. Like if the pituitary started pumping out some kind of new signal, if the receptors on the other end didn't know what that signal was, it's useless. That implies that's information. There's an implication of that, of some kind of designer, across the board.
I mean, you can keep saying that because you want to go in that direction, obviously. But if you just look at it logically, I'm just going to keep giving you explanations for it, and I'm going to go back to that Portuguese man of war. That is a bunch of organisms, but ultimately it comes from different parts. And so the reason you would not find the medium that got from point A to point B from the organisms, each individual organism that makes up this man of war is, I don't know if you believe that, but they say that 99% of things that existed on Earth are extinct, right? So you wouldn't find those pieces of the puzzle. All we have are just a few pieces that obviously are very important. But if you got to paint a picture, it's impossible because all the things that got us to this point are gone.
Yeah, let's try to remember that's just another number they give us. We don't know.
Yeah,
but
exactly
what's extinct, what's not. You know that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it just logically makes sense to me. And if you paint the picture, it makes sense. And that's why I brought that up. I didn't bring it up they said that, so you have to believe this. It actually does make sense.
No, I see what you mean.
Well, but even in that, you don't know how the man of war came to be. You don't know. It could have been an intelligent design. You don't know. So, but I mean, again, it's like there's an inference to the best explanation, and that's part of even what we're doing now through our observations. We're trying to say what's the best explanation for what we've seen. We're trying to understand and trying to get there. I mean, I couldn't, like Nathan or Anthony's video about the tank. The best explanation is, there's the more dense medium, the more refraction is going to occur. That's the best explanation because you can see that across the board. Where the explanation for the curvature is, it becomes like less and less because we're finding explanations for it. I'm saying the same thing is occurring here. Like information implies someone that produced the information. Can't get away from that.
I keep getting away every time you bring something up. I get away from it. You just don't want to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, that's your problem. But I am giving you a logical explanation toward everything you say, and you ultimately say that just to me begs of a creator. That is not an answer. And when I give you an answer and I give you examples of a hibiscus tree and the pH changing, thus that's why it changes color, you don't then apply that to, well, I have eyes and my eyes have a certain color, so that must be intelligence. It's like, no, I just told you about the hibiscus changing color. So what is wrong with you where you are not applying that to everything else? You just then go to a creator. Well, that must be intelligent design.
Well, okay. Well, let's break that down. Give me
like eventually you're going to go back to the tornado. Eventually you're going to go back to the tornado, and you're going to be like, well, show me a tornado that goes to a junkyard and then makes a car. When obviously what I've been saying to you is that the tornado is breaking down the junkyard because all that stuff is made by us, and Earth is trying to take its resources back.
Okay. Well, show me the mechanism that's going on with the hibiscus. Walk me through the mechanism.
I can't walk you through the mechanism. I don't know about hibiscus. I was just looking out the window and I thought about the part where you said, well, what determines my eye color? Well, what determines why I can see and why I can talk and why, all these things. And I just looked out the window and I looked at a hibiscus and saw that it had changed color from when I bought it. And so then I looked it up, and it's because the pH of the soil changes. And so all these things, you can just connect them to the next thing. I didn't go any further into it, but it just because it made sense to me.
I know, but the mechanism that's causing that is as they say, the devil's in the details. Just because it changed, I mean, it could change color, but we don't know. Okay, don't take. It's just a phrase. Okay.
Sure, it is not in your context. In your context, I think
okay,
you want your
don't
audience.
I
want your audience to see me as a bad guy, and that's why you would say the devil is in the details. To me, the beauty is in the details. The logic is in the details. It's not a devil.
Let's talk about the logic then. Let's talk about the logic in the details. Go do the research. And show me the mechanism that's causing that hibiscus to change its pH. There has to be a mechanism inside that plant that's causing that. And then you give me an explanation of how that mechanism.
It's the soil that's doing it.
No, the plant is. Well, it may be change. Well, there's still a mechanism that's causing either the plant to either recognize the pH in the soil or changing the pH in the soil. There's a mechanism.
Yeah.
Just because it's happening, give me the best explanation.
The mechanism is Earth. That's the mechanism.
Okay. Then I can argue. Well, the gravity. I'll just argue gravity. Gravity did it. The mechanism is the Earth. Or I can even say
when you say a creator. Say a creator. It's the same thing as saying as gravity. It's the same thing.
I mean,
when I say Earth, you can see Earth. You can see all the things that are happening.
Okay.
I mean, when you look at the soil, it changes pH for a reason. There's worms in the soil. Worms eat things, and so it's just everything is working together.
But again, there's a mechanism that's causing that. Right?
Earth is the mechanism.
Okay.
Earth. It's very easy to see. If you don't want to see it, if you want to then attach a creator to it, that's because you have an interest in a creator, not because it's actually needed.
So you explained to me how we're having this conversation through Earth.
The same way the soil transmits the information to a hibiscus.
So the soil has abstract thought, has logic, has reason, has philosophical understanding, has understandings of concepts. All that the soil has all that.
You said that, I didn't.
Well,
I like it. I like that thought. I don't think we have the technology to know if the soil or the plant has intelligence. It's a good thought. I think it's a decent direction to go in because we don't know that.
And I've said this.
It makes more sense. It makes more sense to me that those have some sort of communication, whether we can understand it as people or not. It must have been an intelligent design.
But even in the sense of communication implies information being transferred, right?
What? I'm sorry, what?
If a communication is occurring, that means there's information being transmitted, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did that information come from?
From everything else that's on Earth.
So the information created itself. Is that what you're saying?
It came from everything else. Everything is energy. You can't create energy nor destroy it. Everything has always been here, and you can't make it zero. You can change the way it is. You can change it from a gas to a solid. You can do all these things, but you can't make it disappear.
Sorry, can I just interject 1 second? Did you just say that information is energy?
No, everything is energy.
But I would disagree. I would say that information wouldn't fall into that category. How can you measure the energy of information?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, if I have to go with everything is energy, so the information is transmitted by us and talking in our brains, but energy would have created the parts of our being that need to communicate that. So specifically,
I don't disagree with that. My point is to try and back Paul's assertion. Not that I necessarily agree with it.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is, if you take that as your standpoint, where do you get what is required? There you go. What's required to have the information in the first instance?
Necessity, time. When
But
something.
neither of those develop information. So.
No, they don't develop information. But as far as information as far as Earth is concerned, information is just a concept because it's not really needed. Earth is going to do what it's going to do, regardless of what we do or no.
But that's Paul's point, isn't it? So you're saying, as far as your standpoint, information is not needed. Well, that's fine. And in terms of the bit you're arguing, that's correct. However, information is real, but there's something specific that's needed for information to exist in the first place. I'm just going to tell you, it's a knower.
Yeah.
A knower.
Well, okay, so in information, you're asking where does it come from initially?
No. What is it? What's required to have it in the first instance?
Existence.
My answer would be intelligence.
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
No.
See?
Intelligence. No, intelligence is just required to grasp it. Doesn't mean it's not there without it.
Well, without a knower,
information
there is no knowledge.
there. It requires existence.
Yeah, it requires a knower. That's what I said.
Without
the existence of soil,
no
without knowledge being existent. Until you have a knower, you don't have knowledge.
Right.
But that supports Paul's argument. I'm making him along. He's off mute now, so I'm hoping he'll carry on from there.
Well, I mean, no, that's fine. I was good. You guys were actually good. That was good. I was letting you guys go there. You're right. Information requires a knower. A knower, someone that knows it. Well, that implies. I mean, if I started typing a bunch of random keys on the keyboard, it'd be gibberish. It could be gibberish. But if I start writing out words, then it has meaning and purpose. Without someone that initial knower, I guess that's what I'm driving at. There has to be an initial knower, because everything else would be gibberish after that if it's not.
Right. The creator, creation.
Right. That's my point. I mean.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? How it all works out mathematically.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I'm not implying a Christian God even at this point. I'm not even got into that. Yeah, I'm just saying the fact that the Earth is flat. There's certain things, like even us talking about the laws that govern the way this world's set up, whether it be thermodynamics or density and all this stuff, implies that there's an order to the system. There's an order. The system is orderly.
The Earth is flat.
A pattern. There's a pattern to it.
Right, and so a pattern implies someone that created the pattern. My 2-year-old.
Maybe the pattern was always there.
I see. I know where you're going with that. Then you're getting to an eternal You're getting into an eternal regression. There's things that always exist, and that's the way it's always been. Well, I mean, even in life, everything starts. Everything has a beginning. Everything.
Well, maybe look, if the pattern could just be nature itself, the pattern could be a side effect of creation itself. It's just how things crystallize, how they manifest naturally.
But okay.
Everything doesn't necessarily have a beginning. You don't know if the sun had a beginning. Could have been here forever.
Oh dear. True.
I'll throw Nathan's argument in there. I can't prove scientifically that the sun had a beginning. I can't.
You can't even scientifically prove what the sun is.
No, I can't. Yeah, I mean, I can't even.
So how could you prove a beginning?
Well, I'm not even done yet. I can't even prove that I had a beginning scientifically. I can't. I really can't. Through the scientific method, I cannot prove that I had a beginning. But I watched my daughter be born, which means implied that
That's ridiculous.
What do you
Can't
mean?
make that argument. You can't compare your daughter to the sun. It's crazy.
Well, wait a minute. I know you didn't even let me finish. You didn't even let
I
me
know where
finish.
you're going. You're going through the same. You're going to creation. It's easy to break you down.
Okay. Well, no, because it's the best. It's the best.
It's not the best. It's.
But you haven't shown me any.
Faith-based. It is faith-based.
So is yours.
No.
So is yours.
Creation
No, it's
doesn't
not.
necessarily have to start. It's just, I'd call it design. Because creation is to build something where there was nothing. But design
Right.
is just inherent. Nature
Yeah.
Yeah, but
has
it's
the
the same
design.
shit, man.
The design comes
design
rolling out.
requires
We
a
discover the
designer.
design.
So my house.
Yeah, but
has-
it does.
Earth is the designer. It's not that
Oh,
complicated.
really? No, design.
Yes.
Design. Not designer, design.
but was my house that I'm sitting in that you have never seen? Was it designed?
Yeah, by you.
You are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or the Nathan Oakley channel, then you can pick up the rest of that discussion shortly after the credits roll, because the after show will follow. However, if you are watching this in the live audience, this unfortunately is the time we bid you farewell and say a massive, huge, enormous thank you for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate, and of course a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you want to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate community, then go to nathanoakley.com and join the Flat Earth Debate Community Forum to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate Community Forum goodness. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Over here, we talk about the sun. It's a light in the sky that we don't know what it is, how far it is, how it behaves, but something is moving. It could be the sun. Some people say it's the earth. And it moves at 15 degrees per hour throughout the day, traversing the sky, not changing in angular size. And I haven't found any explanation on how could it work, this not changing in angular size, 15 degrees per hour, traversing the sky, and then coming around and coming up again. I haven't found a flatter explanation.
Well,
You know,
it's
I'm
very
just asking.
simple, Jose. I got
Jose,
the
can I
answer
ask you a
right for
question?
you. First, you have to
Can I-
let go of the assumption that it is a physical object in a literal
That's the first
location.
thing I say.
Once you
we
do
don't know
that,
what it
the
is or how it
options
behaves.
become very vast. And you can start to
Did you hear
approach it
the
in
first-
an entirely
the first
different
part of my
way. It's up to
statement?
you if you actually do it, though, or just keep on claiming, I can't see it working on a flat earth model. Or you could just let go of that
Two
physical
things. I
assumption
never say model, and you didn't
actually
hear the
try to
first part of
figure
my
out what is
statement.
there. Or let somebody finish
Okay.
talking.
Are you done talking? Okay. The first thing, I never say model. And the second part, you didn't hear the first part of my statement. I say it's a light in the sky. We don't know what it is, what the distance, and what is it made of. But then the other part came in, you know?
If you can't see it work on a model or a map or whatever, it's because you're holding on to certain elements you have no knowledge of are there in the first place, and usually routed in physicality assumption bias.
Go ahead, Chocolate. You were going to say something.
I was going to ask you, what is for you the main problem? Is it the fact that it's the sun moving across the sky, or is it the fact that it doesn't change in angular size?
Yeah, it doesn't
The
change in angular size
thing
from
doesn't
sunrise to sunset.
really makes sense to me. Say that.
The angular size doesn't change from sunrise to sunset throughout the day with a actual good solar
And
filter. It does not.
And the
So
angular
if
speed as
So
well.
if we don't know,
Don't forget the
so if we
angular
don't
speed.
know what the sun is, right? Don't know what it is. Why would we expect it to change angular size? We don't know what it is. We can't.
Right.
Because I've seen many people, different flat earthers, explaining it in different ways, and it's not like a concise explanation, and it's all over the place. I would like to know what the explanation is on flat earth.
You and everybody else, Jose. This is the
That's
thing.
the whole point.
Everybody knows what the fuck that thing is up there. So how can we? How can you trust somebody telling you what it is? How
I don't
can
have
you
to. I got
expect
it.
to see-
Look. Yeah, I just look in the sky and see the sun and
Okay,
and
but
the angular movement.
We actually
that it's supposed to change in angular size, and because it doesn't work on a flat Earth quote unquote model. But that's the thing. We don't know what it is. So how can anybody say, oh, it's supposed to change because that's how it would act on a flat Earth? We don't know what the fuck it is.
But don't you see?
Point.
Yeah, don't you see a little bit of disingenuous because
So who's
then
going-
it's a denial type of thing, you know? I think the right approach is to accept something that works. Okay, the heliocentric model have an explanation, and then try to disprove it with something else. It's not a just so story, just an explanation how it works, and more people will take this seriously.
Jose, we've actually talked about what could account for this, the lack of changing size. We've actually talked about it that even today, because it could not the atmosphere magnify the sun as it moves across the surface, so it would not look like it's changing in size because of the
besides the rock schema in the table. I haven't seen anything else besides the rock schema with the little sun and the magnifying glass in the table. I haven't seen anything else. That's it.
Right, Paul. Okay, it's not just angular size; it's also angular speed. There is no way to change the view somehow that could work out, and it being somehow physically, literally moving over the flat plane. Just doesn't work. It's not a physical part of this world. Otherwise, it would in some way change angular size, and it would alter its angular speed, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I've been cross-referencing all the kinds of explanations, and the massive amount of explanation, everything adds up from books, from all history, from citations, from videos, from everything. 99% agrees that is the heliocentric model explanation. Then the 1% is broken all over the place. Yeah,
Jose.
don't say no.
Bullshit.
It is.
Only thing they agree on is the path, and that it is not some thingy floating over the Earth. And then
anybody
the
else say
entire
bullshit? 99% agree in the heliocentric model works, and then the 1% is broken.
Is cast into
Anybody else
that,
disagree?
and that is assumed.
Or just Irwin.
Doesn't match. The fairy tale doesn't
Jose's
match
just
it.
trolling
The
now.
fairy
He's
tale
just
is
trolling
just
now.
filler.
Air Flander. 99% of the books, the documents, the
All right,
citations,
yes, I've
the
heard you
videos.
say,
Yeah.
I've heard every
Okay.
baller say this, but the difference with you is that you've been here with us. You've been through this whole thing, and you know that's all BS. Whether it's a consensus of 99.999%, it doesn't matter, and you know that.
Then what I do is wrong with the 99%. I try to disprove it and find an alternate explanation. I haven't found it. It's broken. It's all over the place, bro.
Really?
So stay there.
You're not satisfied. That's basically it. You're not satisfied, so you're
Yes,
going with the
exactly.
majority you know is wrong.
I'm still trying to disprove it, trying to find an alternate explanation. That's why I'm here, trying to find an alternative.
Well, I handed you some of that, and
All right,
you
why
seem
do you
to
need
be
an
forgetting it.
alternative? Why? What difference does it make if you have an explanation? If the explanation is currently wrong?
It's just I don't know, makes me not knowledgeable exactly, but made me more like in peace of I get an explanation and I will try to
Good.
disprove
Go
it
in
now.
peace. Go in peace.
Ignorance is bliss.
But then the approach of I want to just deny the actual explanation and find an alternative. No, we should take an explanation and try to break it down.
We are here because it's not an actual explanation.
He
We are
knows all
looking
this.
for the proof of that. And
He's
we
just
haven't
trolling.
found it. This is why we are still here. You have chosen to accept the explanations that have been given to you by consensus science. All right, this is the problem, and that's why Earth flatteners get like this with you, because you know these arguments. This is you're wondering why people are fucking pissed off at you. This is why, bro.
like
You've been
Arwin
doing this
said.
for a fucking year, just like us.
Yeah.
You've been in this fucking community. We've been asking the same questions, and then one day you just decide, oh, I'm just gonna decide I believe in the ball.
Oh, okay, Chocolate. So 99% of books that say we're on a ball are lying? It's like, what kind of an argument is that after everything that we've been through? The only explanation I can give is like Arwin said, you had a lobotomy. That's it.
Yep.
For real, man. I don't mean to be pissed off at you, man, but it's one of those things, dude. And people have been calling you flip-flop and names and all this bullshit, and now I see you running around kind of troll-like, and it pisses me off. You're a cool dude. I don't want to hate on you, man, but I have a real problem with how you're acting right now. Now, and when you came out and said, oh, I'm going to change my mind, I was one of the first people to give you benefit of the doubt. I was the one that said, you know what, I'm going to give him is his. He feels how he feels. That's how he wants to do it. Great. But now I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Then
it's
why
crazy.
are you so angry now?
Because we care about you, Jose. We like you.
I like you guys. If not, I wouldn't been here. I like this platform. I like you guys. That's why I'm here.
Well,
I like
you
the subject
found
also.
your transition disturbing.
Let me ask you a question,
That's
Jose.
the source of the frustration, I think, mostly.
If you heard me say after I had an observation, I just said, yeah, I just don't think it's this. I think it's this, and I didn't have any evidence that I showed how I eliminated certain decisions. Would you be satisfied with that?
I will just respect your opinion.
No, that's not what I asked you. I said, would you be satisfied that I had done a thorough job?
Not really, but I will not attack you for it. I will accept your opinion, and you're entitled to it, and you do whatever you think.
Yeah, I'm not attacking you. I'm trying to tell you, you have not done a thorough job in your exercise of your own free will to make a decision. You are simply dismissing with the wave of a hand. That's not the scientific method. You can't just say, oh, there's no explanation for it. Really? What were the other variables you eliminated? A, B, C, D, and E. Show me. Which ones did you eliminate them? How did you eliminate them?
That's your take on it. I mean, that's the way you perceive my approach, but we all have our mind. We all have our hold on, I'm almost done. Come on, man. I was trying to say something.
You've been done. You're just saying the same nonsense.
Thing, you know?
You say
but I
literally
wanna
the
say
same
it.
nonsense
You guys
over
can
and
say your
over
nonsense.
again.
I cannot say my nonsense.
Let him talk, Flatner. Let him talk. Let him talk.
So the way I think is whatever.
I have my
we all
opinion.
Have our,
you have
our
your
unique
opinion.
Come
Just
on,
leave
Earth
it be.
Flatner. Come on.
And
Don't be a troll.
I am not able to express myself articulately enough for you to understand, and I will never gonna do it because I can't just express whatever definitions of I feel, you know. So go ahead.
Yeah, Jose, that is bullshit.
That's total BS, Jose. Si me quieres decir en español, José, yo te escucho, yo te entiendo. Si piensas que en español vas a ser mejor,
no,
dime
I can't.
en español.
I know better this subject in English. I know this subject better in English. I cannot translate half of the shit I say in English in Spanish because this subject about science, about the earth, I learned it in English. I really didn't learn it in Spanish. It's harder to me to translate it in Spanish.
I asked Jose if he had a problem saying it in English to tell me in Spanish so I understand where he's coming from. But not, he's saying he can't. Because he can't. He's just trolling.
Jose, which one of us has ever said to you, hey, Jose, you're not making very much sense, man. Can you try to explain yourself a little bit? There's a language barrier. How many of us have ever said that to you?
Never.
Never. It's bullshit, dude. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay,
listen. Your accent is just a flare.
It's really hard to express the thought process on a human being. Myself, I cannot express my thought process on how they arrive to these conclusions. I just say the abstract, really little approach. I cannot explain myself like this is what happens with me. Just give you a freaking elaborate explanation because I can't.
You can just the main thing you and I say that we have in common, Jose, is that we don't know. That's where we always go. So for you to say, so you're going to tell me that 99% of books claiming we're on a ball are lying? You're taking a stance there. You could just say I don't know instead.
Yeah,
but you're being totally troll
That only means that the biggest, most elaborate lie wins.
It's the same in the same breath. I don't know, and I would like to. I don't know, and I would like to accept the actual mainstream explanation and try to disprove it. But you guys don't want to take the actual.
Hold on, guys, look.
You just want to disprove it without accepting anything.
Stop. Look, there's going to be people that want to hear his answer. So can you just let Jose finish? I realise it's upsetting. I understand entirely it's upsetting for me. But I still want to hear his answer. Even if it's nonsense and you disagree.
It's hard to me to express how did I arrive to this conclusion. I just really get a little tired of the little broken explanations, a bunch of pieces on the flat earth.
Did somebody kick him?
No, he dropped. It's a
Yeah, it's probably
mobile
a cell
drop.
phone
He'll
thing.
be back.
That's a bugger when that happens. It's
Yeah.
right in the middle of it as well.
So I've been thinking about the intelligence and having a knower. I think everything is intelligent and everything knows. So I don't know if that's an answer, but that's what I can come up with now, which makes sense to me still.
Not really. Rocks don't
Yeah,
have...
of course. I have to paint a really big picture to get that point across, But because I mean, as far as intelligence, we consider people intelligent, but kind of like nothing else is intelligent, to where it seems like everything is literally intelligent, whether it's microscopic and, so everything just goes back and forth and transmits this information with their whatever intelligence it's using.
Did Jose leave or did he drop? Or
I don't
He
know.
got kicked by mobile droppage.
He might have just left.
Yeah, because I
Just
dropped.
so I can get this in.
So
Just so I can get it in there.
yes,
there.
go ahead.
The word you're looking
Go
for is I can't say it very well with a cold. Sentience, or to be sentient, the ability to perceive.
Here's a.
Did you ask me something?
Sentience is about feelings, though. Senses.
Okay, so as far as intelligence, the one that comes specifically to my mind is trees. When you have the rainforest, the trees determine if they need more water if it's not raining enough. So if not enough rain falls, the trees release a chemical so that way the water binds to it and it rains more. So that to me is a sort of intelligence.
Yes.
I don't know if you see it that way.
I see it that way.
It seems to me like everything is like that, and it seems to me everything always has been.
Okay, I'm not going to get into. I mean, I'm not. I mean, you already know my stance, so it doesn't matter. But I still want to ask the question.
Yeah.
What are the sources that possible? Remember, we've been doing this with Jose and anybody that comes in here. What are the possible sources for information or for consciousness?
Yay!
Hey, welcome back.
All right, you wanted to keep going, Jose, or should I?
I don't know where was I for real.
Well,
Jose, I wanted to ask you, or I wanted to maybe tell you this, right? Now, the reason, other than you just flipping your mind about this situation, right, that people are kind of upset is that, okay, so you want to accept, and we get it. You want the answers. We all do. This is why we're here, right? But here's the thing. You accept that what obstruction you're seeing, that's curvature, right? And I understand that. You're looking for an explanation for the curvature. You're also missing other things because you were around for the birth of the housekeeping questions. You understand why we ask them. You understand why they exist, right? Now, all of us are looking for the answers to these things, and none of us have found it. Globers haven't, provided any of that, and anything they do provide has been realized as bullshit. So the problem is that, okay, so you want to accept that there's obstruction of some, lighthouses or houses or whatever, but you're not addressing all the other points. You understand? This is why people are having problems with this, because you accept the obstruction as curvature, but how do we have a gas pressure next to a vacuum? How do we have molten iron core? All these things that we ask every day, all these things that we're looking into. There's no explanation.
I understand, yeah, the housekeeping questions, and I cannot answer any single one of them. There's more knowledgeable people than me that have been in the show and destroyed because they got no answers for these housekeeping questions. That doesn't mean that the flat earth has an answer. And I know it's upsetting for you guys for me to take this take, but the thing is, from my point of view, is just denial. I refuse to accept the explanation because it's, I don't know, broken, it's missing pieces, but I refuse to give an explanation, an alternative explanation. That's what, I don't know, is aggravating to me. my own.
So,
personal
in other
take.
words, so what I'm trying to get straight is you don't like saying I don't know. Is that what it is? You don't, because I understand that some people don't feel comfortable not knowing certain things, right? This
In part,
this
yeah, I
topic.
hate saying
This
I
is
don't
why
know.
this topic itself.
Absolutely.
This is
Absolutely,
why this
chocolate.
topic itself brings so much hate and triggering, because there are people who cannot stand the notion that they might not know something. Now, us as flat earthers have had to say, hey, there are things that we accept that we don't know. So is that what the problem is? Is that you cannot accept not knowing something and you need an answer,
Yeah,
even if that
yeah,
answer doesn't pan out?
yeah. I
Is that
just hate being in the purgatory, in the limbo, in the floating in mid-air place of I just want to deny until I find an explanation for whatever. I choose to accept the explanation unless an alternative comes. I don't see anything wrong with that. I know you guys get upset and you will hate to take the part of this, but I like being in this position now.
okay?
No, I absolutely don't see anything wrong with that position. It's just a part where you say the things that we used to make fun of ballers about. If you go back and listen to yourself when you were a so-called flat earther, you would say the exact same things we would say, and which are the things that we are not now attacking you for. So you
I
were the
do, and
same
I feel
way.
I feel dirty. I feel dirty with myself when I listen to the old shows. I go like, holy shit, I could have been
No,
still here, but I will be lying to myself because I don't feel comfortable no more taking I refuse to accept any explanation. I
no,
feel
you're
dirty with that.
saying 99% of people think the earth is a ball, so I have to. That's dirty. That's extremely dirty. Disgustingly dirty. And that's what's bothering me about you.
And it's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. Thank you.
No, I'm right.
There is a point that we all have to accept something or acknowledge something that we, from our own personal experience. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, I think we all, we're working. We can't. Earth Flattener. I think. We can go through life saying we just don't have the answer, and that's which is okay. We can do that. But we also have to, sometimes we have to put our feet on some kind of solid footing. And if we don't, then we're just left in limbo, constantly being tossed back and forth. Now, the determining factor is, what are you going to put your foundation on? And if we completely live in a I don't know stance, then you don't have solid footing. You do have to start somewhere. And I'm not saying what that is.
I don't mind that at all.
How about
As long
taking the
as I
stance of
have.
the How about taking the stance of the consensus and then try to disprove it with an alternate explanation or anything?
Because the consensus is shown many times over and over again to be wrong. So I don't know if that's even a grounding for truth and what do we know to be true. If I take the consensus 50 years ago, then I should be smoking a couple pack of cigarettes a day. Now they're finding out statin drugs aren't good for you. If I take the consensus, I should still be taking statin drugs. So the consensus, I don't know if it should be your basis, because the consensus is shown more times than not to be wrong, and it's the small minority is shown to be true. So I don't know.
But then I try to find
think the
citations, and I find Robotum, in the 1900s or whatever, in the early. I find very few citations and consensus on the flat earth and preponderance. You hate that. A preponderance of evidence in favor of the globe that you guys just deny. I gotta take I gotta take the boat where the consensus are. I'm sorry.
Jose, really?
You're the one in denial.
I'm denying something that I was taught for 40 years, was told that was true, was told that was absolutely true and fact 40 years, and now after a certain point I start looking for proof of that and I can't find it and I'm supposed to just accept that? Nah, That's
Jose,
soldier
How
mentality.
about trying to find proof on the on your favor, on your favor and an alternate explanation?
Hey,
Go ahead,
Riley wants to say
Riley.
something, man. He hasn't said anything.
Could you give one example of something that you feel that we ignore?
An explanation on sunrise and sunset, bro. It's an easy one. I know it's the sun. It doesn't have to do anything
Okay,
with
all
the
right,
earth,
stop.
but
I get
it's
it.
part of the model,
Let me ask you. If we ignore it, why is it? Just have a quick conversation with me. Sunrise, sunset. What's it caused by?
Something is moving. Either the lights in the skies are moving or the earth is moving.
What causes sunrise? What causes sunset?
I could give you a helio or the geocentric explanation. Which one you go
Just
for?
tell me what, because you say that we ignore this. So I'm asking, what's the cause of the sunrise and the sunset?
Something is moving. One revolution per. Let's say the Earth. Okay, let's say the Earth is moving, and I know you're going for the semantics and asking me for evidence or proof that the Earth is moving, but I'm gonna give you the Earth is one rotation per day, and it adds up 15 degrees per hour.
So what's the evidence that proves that the Earth is moving?
I don't have any. Now I give you the explanation. The sun is traversing the skies.
Hang
the
on,
sun is moving
stop.
now.
So hang on. So back to the point that is that we ignore this. It's not that we ignore it. It's that we don't accept that the Earth's spinning that's causing the sunrise and the sunset because there's no science to prove it. That's not ignoring it.
No, I totally understand your take on this, and I in part agree with your disagreement. But in my point of view, this is a denial of the accepted. The Earth is rotating, but you're not providing an alternative explanation. This is what I say.
Well, what we can say is that there's no scientific evidence that proves that the Earth is spinning. So if the Earth
agree.
isn't
All
spinning,
right.
hang on. If the Earth isn't spinning from the science point of view, then the answer to your question is we don't know.
Okay, perfect. I totally agree. You win this point. Now, I want to say the sun is moving across the sky, and everything adds up. He moves at 15 degrees per hour, and he go around, and then he come back up. It adds up to 360 degrees on a spherical
So what?
model.
You can't prove that it's coming back up. It just appears as a lateral movement from our perspective. It doesn't imply that because we see a lateral movement that there is an orbital movement of us or the us of it. All we see is it
a
go over
lateral
one.
movement.
Yeah, but hang on. We only see one movement. It goes over one horizon and comes back from the other horizon. But your implication is that it goes under our ass, and we're saying we don't think it does.
If it's a lateral movement, that implies that is some kind of perspective explanation. But then the sun not changing in angular size whatsoever, how perspective dictates, it just refuses that explanation.
Yeah, but our position is we don't know what's causing it. It could be holographic, it could be projected, it could be some kind of weird perspective anomaly that we don't know. We accept that the Earth is not spinning, but you accept that the Earth is spinning, but there's no science that supports you.
It's okay. It's okay. That's the take you want to take.
I just wanted to point out that
when
I just wanted to point out that when you said that there's a preponderance of evidence and we just ignore it, I asked you to give us one example of a piece of evidence that you think that we ignore, and it turns out that we don't ignore it, we just reject it because the science doesn't support it. That's not the same as ignoring it. Thank you.
But it's a personal experience. 100% of the people experience this sunrise and sunset and not changing in size. It's not necessarily about what we see in books or citations. It's what we see, we experience, and finding an explanation on how it works.
But see, here's the thing. Here's a question about that. I've talked to my brother about the flat Earth, and something he said, well, that's the best explanation. Just because you can explain something doesn't make that explanation true, because it's a good explanation.
I agree with that too, yeah.
And I think that's what we're all trying to say, even me. I mean, I'm just saying that to me, this is the best explanation. I can say that. Now, the question is whether that's true or not, whether that statement is true or not, or my explanation is true or not. And so there is a place for ambiguity. We need to kind of live in that place of constantly questioning mystery. If we don't have an answer, as Anthony is saying, that's the place to say, okay, I don't know. But we do know that the sun is moving across the sky. We can all agree on that. We can agree on that for sure.
Yeah, and if let's say if the sun was traversing the sky, and go in the above the plane, in around whatever. Uh, if I point whatever a ring laser gyro, which I don't have one, but I've seen videos on it. If I point my phone on the app, I should keep pointing it around, farther away and around the horizon, lateral movement, horizontal around me. But I got to point it around me in a vertical way, going down, 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 and then above. It just doesn't add up. I mean, if I want to picture it in the big scale, the only shape is got to be spherical. It just doesn't work on a flat plane.
Well, the problem we have is, this is the point of this whole debate. We have no evidence of curvature. We have no evidence of roundness. So there has to be another explanation other than simply being it's going under our feet.
It could be another explanation, but the tools that we are being handed to, the technology, allow us to track it vertically around in a spherical pattern.
Why, Jose? Because they created an app that tells you that? Well, you know what? They also have an app that lets you go chase Pokemon.
Exactly. Yeah, but the Pokemon are not reality. I don't see it.
But that doesn't make Pokemon real, right? That doesn't make Pokemon real, right? So that means that app doesn't have to be real, telling you where the sun is. You can see where it is.
But I can see. We can see where our eyes, the sun in the sky, and we can point at it with the app. So it works.
Can you prove when it's gone that it's under your feet, or do you need an app to tell you that?
It works. People are around the plane. I'm gonna say people around the Earth point at the app or pointed at the sun, and it always concurs with it.
I love that. I love that.
And when they point at it, they're pointing under their feet, or is the app telling them that it's under their feet? Because
the app is telling them. The app is telling them. Yeah.
The only thing I've ever seen under my feet is the ground.
I've seen a place where people gather for the Pokemon app, and that's probably they're coming all over the city, and I see them all the time. Must be real because this app's showing them. I can show them my app. Look, Pokemon's right here, but I can't get Pokemon. But everybody's saying on their app the same Pokemon.
Can any of you disprove this app?
It's the reality.
Can you disprove this app, how it doesn't work, and then we can just take it down and just ban it around everywhere?
Pokemon app works.
No, but I don't see Pokemon. I see the sun in the sky, bro. I mean, stop strawmanning me. It's bullshit.
Yeah, but no, Jose, this is the point. When you see the sun in the sky, where is it? It's above your head, right? You need to look at the app for it to tell you that it's under your feet. It's the same thing with the Pokemon. I can look through the screen and see a Pokemon. It's not there, but it's showing. The app's showing me, right?
Can you disprove this app? Can anybody do something and take
this
app off the market because it doesn't work then, eh?
Wow.
We all know that we don't have to say this to Jose. He's not retarded like an Orthodox. He knows what's going on here.
Yeah, an Orthodox. An Orthodox, the automated pilot baller.
Unorthodox is really smart. He just got his arguments are a little all over the place and he rumpuses a lot.
Yeah, that's not a sign.
We don't need your review of anybody, Jose.
If your argument's all over the place, that's usually a sign that the intelligence isn't really up to par.
Orthodox is too much in agreement with everything. Like, no, what I say is right. And he should take a little more of a humble approach. Like, I really don't know, but I want to believe this. That's the part he's missing.
Right.
Yeah, you shouldn't follow the books that say that 99% of people think we're on a ball. I agree.
There's no humble approach when the guy comes in here telling us that we're stupid and he wants to put us on to what's going on in the world. Okay, that's his approach. So I'm sorry, I can't respect that. Because that's how he comes in. Oh, you guys are stupid. I'm going to help you guys out. Well, you know what? You can
and I never say you guys are stupid. I say many flatter arguments are stupid.
Well,
and I have
I'm not talking about you.
Yeah, no. But I'm just saying that.
That guy, yeah.
Hey, many arguments. Look, many of these arguments that flat earthers have come up with, they came up with, and then they're tested. And yeah, there's a lot of mistakes. This because it's coming out of nowhere. We're trying to figure it out, and you need to make mistakes in order to figure out what is correct. And
right now,
there will be lots of people just perpetuating these mistakes.
Right
Doesn't
now, I
mean
know
that it's all a mistake.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Arwin disagrees a lot with what you guys say because he believes in a rectangular looping model, but he hold his tongue down to just agree and okay and hold it back. No, I can't take that stand.
No, not necessarily. But I can't always attack the argument every single time it comes up because there's also other processes going.
But
I
attack the
don't want
argument
to
and not
disrupt
find
everything. Just to
attack the
get my
argument,
points.
okay, but give an explanation also. That's the part you guys are lacking. You attack, and refuse, deny, but don't give an explanation on how it works.
That's part of what we're trying to figure out. That's part of this whole process. We're trying to figure out. We're trying to get an explanation.
He knows all this. He's just trolling.
Hold on. I don't need to give an explanation to absolutely pummel the current assertions based on their nonsense.
Right.
It's not my responsibility to explain how the sky works, or tell you what's beyond the sky, or tell you anything about the way the world works. I don't need to do any of that. If you want that, oh well, I don't have it for you. But what I do have is an absolute demolition of the current assertions that we live on a spinning ball flying through space. That's what I can do, and I don't have to give you anything.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah,
Jose, I know you understand that because you know that. You have the same understanding as we do.
You were there.
You are not unorthodox. You know exactly what's going on.
That's why I don't want to. I cannot argue
there,
any of these points here. I just can give you my opinion on my part of the story. I can give you only one can do.
That's not
2
your
steps
part.
forward, 1 step back. You were there, Jose. You did get it. And now you did a step back. That's all.
But you're not giving us your opinion. You're giving us the consensus and telling us that 99% of people believe what you are now asserting. Well, that's not your opinion.
Absolutely.
That's the consensus opinion.
Yes. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. I got to get out of here. I got to do a bunch of stuff. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Eat it.
Pleasure. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you, guys. And I really want to apologize. Yesterday I came in hot and not listening too much, but yeah, I'll take it easy from now on, you know.
Today was worse.
That's why I had to call you a troll yesterday. I didn't really want to, but you kind of pissed me off with that. So
it's all good. I took a little more of a smooth stand today, so yeah, I will be more mellow in my later approach. I gotta get out.
All right. See you later, Jose.
Later, Jose. And with that, I think I will actually say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you tuning in either the Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley audiences. Massive thank you for joining us. If you would like to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate community, then go to nathanoakley.com and join the forum. That way you can keep up to date with all the community Flat Earth debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!